Hi, my name is Aveen. Welcome back to the final video in our 3-part beginner series. So if you're only joining here, maybe take a little step back and have a little look at the first 2 videos, and they progressively get a little bit more difficult to this 3rd video here today. So today we're going to add in some different combinations of some of the moves that we've done before and make things ever so slightly more difficult, but I'll still give you lots of easier versions of all of the exercises. So feel free to bring yourself down onto the mat. Get yourself nice and comfortable. Again, if you need a cushion from your sofa, just a small one under the back of the head, that's absolutely perfect. Find that neutral spine position. So we're going to arch our back all the way up off the mat as much as it feels comfortable going. And then we're going to draw down through those abdominals, really flattening through that spine. So these are pelvic tilts. So in a way, you're tilting that pelvis forwards and then you flatten that back in. So this is a backwards pelvic tilt. So holding that pressure down in on the spine as much as you feel comfortable, then you're going to back off to around about 50%. So at this point, you shouldn't be able to put your full hand underneath the base of the spine, and you shouldn't be fully pressed down either. So you're just using those lower abdominal muscles, the ones just directly underneath that belly button, to stabilize yourself here and keep that body in a nice neutral position. So we're going to relax those hands down onto the floor beside us. And we're going to come up into that scissor lift that we did before. So one leg is just going to lift into tabletop. And then you're going to lower back down again. And then come straight up over to the other side. So lift into that tabletop. And lower back down. Lift. Nice and slow and steady. Again, just draw down through the ribs here. And make sure you maintain a nice neutral position through that spine. So feeling that tightness directly underneath that belly button, but not so much that you're holding your breath or can't breathe. Same on the other leg. Now we're going to get a little bit more difficult. So we're going to bring one leg up into tabletop. And when you're ready, bring the other leg up into tabletop. Feel that extra work that you have to do to maintain this position. Then we're going to lower that first leg and lower that second leg. So again, lift the first, draw down through those abdominals. You'll have to increase that as you lift the second leg, lower the first, and lower that second. Again, lift that first leg up. And lifting that second, this is called double tabletop. And lower that first. And lower that second. Last one, lifting that first. Lift the second. Lower the first. And lower the second. Excellent. So from here, nice and warm through those lower abdominals, we're going to peel our spine up off the floor into that bridge. So roll that back up, and then same thing, back just comes down onto that mat. Try one level at a time. So roll that spine up, peel it off the mat, one bone at a time, and then same thing, rolling it back down. Imagine that spine like a piece of Velcro. And again, roll up to the top. And back down. So we're going to make this next one a little bit more difficult. Feel free to do the bridges just as you were before if you like. We're going to lift the heel on one foot. So for me, it's my right foot. I'm just onto my right toes. Heel is lifted. And I'm going to bring as much attention into that foot that's still flat on the floor as I can. So with that side that's still flat on the floor, I'm going to use this side as much as I can to lift myself up off the mat and lower it back down. So not much looks different, but what you're looking for here is to bring your weight over onto one leg more than the other. So the foot that's on the toes I'm trying to use that as little as possible. And I'm really pushing through that heel that's still down on the mat. And try to get that really nice curve up and down through that spine again. And again, roll it up and roll it back down. And last one of these, then we're going to swap sides. So roll up, press through that heel on that supporting leg, and come on back down again. Excellent. We're going to swap sides. So lower the heel on the foot that was just on the toe and come up onto the toes on the leg that we just worked. So this time, my attention's on my right leg. The heel that's still on the ground is going to press into that floor. Lift yourself up off the mat. And then roll it back down again. So I'm trying to use the side of that heel as much as I can and put as little weight as possible through that other leg that's on the toes. You're trying to maintain that nice peeling position. Make sure you don't flare those ribs at the top of this movement. So keep the ribs down and come on back down. 2 more of those to do. So roll up through that spine, peel up off the floor. And then come on back down again. And last one. Peel that spine up. And come on back down again. Well done. Should really feel that in those glutes. Nice. And bring yourself back into that center of that neutral pelvis position. Bring your hands up towards our ears. We're going to float those elbows up off the mat or off the floor beside. And we're going to come into those abdominal lifts. So we're going to lift and lower. And what we were looking at the last day is trying to draw those ribs down towards our hips as much feels comfortable. And that will engage those abs really nicely. Again, trying to do as much work as you can with that head and neck as opposed to using those hands to pull out of the back of the head. And if you can, add in that breath. So breath out and breath in to come back. We're going to go a little bit more difficult on these. So if you can, we're going to lift and twist to the side. So you'll notice my elbows are still nice and wide. And then I'm going to come back down and same to the other side. Lift and twist and lower down. Think of drawing one rib to the hip on the opposite side. So that will give you a nice X shape across those abdominals. Breath out as we lift. And breath in to lower. Breath out to lift. And in to lower. And relax. Take a little breather for a second. Keep those elbows just hovered off the floor. And we're going to come into those knee marches again. So lift one leg into our tabletop with our scissors. And then we're going to lower it back down. Make sure you maintain that neutral spine as well. And swap to the other side. Lift into that tabletop. And lower. Now we're going to combine both movements. So as we lift one leg into tabletop, turn in that direction. And then lower head, neck, and shoulders on that foot. Same again. So I'm lifting and turning to my left as I lift that left knee, or vice versa. And really draw down through those abdominals, underneath that belly button, or all over the abdominals should really be working here. Breath out as we lift and twist. Breath in to lower. We're going to do one more each side. Keep those elbows nice and wide. Lift and twist. And lower down. Breath out. And breath in to come back. Excellent. Let's take a little breather. So one knee at a time is going to hug into that chest. And feel free to do a little rock side to side if that feels good for you. If not, just hold in the middle and do whatever that body will allow. Lovely. And come on back out of that position. So we're going to bring our attention over to our side, to that clam position again. And previously, we were down here on that lower arm. So we're going to press up and come onto that elbow underneath to work a little bit more difficult than we were before. Feel free, if you get tired in that arm, you can come back to this regular position. See how that body feels. So we're going to lift and lower into those clams. So same idea, you want to make sure that you can lift here without rolling backwards. Underneath the body, so underneath those ribs, you want to draw those ribs up away from that mat. So imagine there's a little tea light sitting on that mat underneath those ribs. And we're going to draw up away from it. Let's lift to the top and hold. And take 4 seconds to lower down. 3, 2, 1. Lift to the top and hold. Lower for 4, 3, 2, 1. Lift to the top and hold. Might be a little bit shaky, that's okay. We're going to do 2 more of these and then we're going to lie back down onto that mat. So lift to the top and hold. 4 seconds, 2, and 1. Last one, lift to the top and hold. And lower for 4, 3, 2, 1. Excellent. So come on down onto the mat. Relax the body down. And again, just try to lengthen through that top hip away towards the end of the mat. And straighten out that top leg. So holding that position there. But we did circles before and lift and lowers. Now we're going to draw down into a rainbow shape. So tap the floor in front. Try keep that knee as straight as possible. And then tap behind. So lift through the center. Tap the floor in front. Lift through the center and tap the floor behind. Try to draw a nice rainbow shape. So semicircle. Tap, lift, and tap. The higher you go here, the more difficult it's going to be. An easier option if you need to is just bending that knee and you can do that same movement, lift and tap. I'm going to do 4 more, so 2 each direction. Lift and behind, front and back. Excellent. Hold it through that center. And then let's bend that knee. So press through the hand. We're going to come up and over to the opposite side, however you feel comfortable to do. And then we've got the same thing here on this side. So nice and solid through that elbow underneath the body. Again, if that's too much, just come down here onto the mat and you can do your clams from here. And if not, we're just going to lift up and down through that top leg if that feels good for you. So again, imagine you've got that tea light directly under those ribs towards the mat. And you're going to draw away from it. So imagine someone has you by a string, pulling up through those ribs at the side. And we're just lifting that knee up and down. Nice. And we're going to add in some of those slow lowers. So lift up and slowly lower 4 seconds. So I'll time you on this. Lift. Again, if that elbow is not enjoying this, come down onto the mat. Lift and lower for 4, 3, 2, 1. Lift and hold. Lower for 4, 3, 2, 1. 2 more. Lift and hold. Lower for 4, 3, 2, 1. Lift and hold. Lower for 4, 3, 2, 1. Excellent. And then slowly lower yourself nice and comfortable down onto that mat. Pop that top hand on the hip if that feels comfortable for you. And take your top leg and stretch it out towards the end of the mat. Point the toes and let's tap in front. Lift through that center and tap behind. So lovely controlled movement. Try get that length through that top of the hip. So imagine you're trying to stretch that top hip down towards the end of the mat. Lift, drawing that rainbow shape. Nice. Lift and tap behind, lift and tap in front. Try get nice steady movement through that leg. Lovely. And tap. Lift and tap behind, lift and tap in front. 2 more each direction. So come back, get a nice lift through the center, and then come forward 1 more each direction. Lift and tap behind, and lift and tap in front. Excellent. Really should be feeling that burn in the outside of that top hip. And when you're ready, press through that hand. Come up and over onto those hands and knees. So we're going to start here with what we did before. Find that straight back position and stretch out 1 foot at a time. So we did this the last day and we were really focused on drawing in ever so slightly through that belly button, making sure our back is really straight. And down. So breath out as we stretch. Breath in to come down. Try not to collapse down through that back as we stretch out. And come on back down. Holding this position, try to keep nice and stable. And we're going to bring our attention to those hands. So 1 hand at a time is going to lift and stretch away. Try get it up as close to the ear as feels comfortable. And then come down again. Swap sides. Lift up. And back down. Again, your focus here is on not arching that spine. So keep drawing up nice and flat through that back. You're just moving that arm, but you should feel a little bit of tightness coming in through that core to stabilize here. And on this next one, so you can keep to just hands and just legs, or we're going to combine the 2 together. Work on a little bit of balance, stretch opposite arm and leg away from us, and then swap over to the other side. So again, try keep that belly button drawn in through towards our spine, and back down. Alternate those hands and feet. And we're going to go a little bit more difficult. So if just doing that lift feels good to you, feel free to keep just swapping sides. And if not, we're going to do 5 taps. So lower the foot to the floor and lower the hand. And then we're going to lift both at the same time. Lower and lift. So 3 more. Keep the arms straight and the foot straight. Trying to maintain nice length through that spine. And come on back down again. Swap sides and then we're going to be done. So when you're ready, straighten that arm and leg out. Again, you can just keep it to here, keep swapping sides. And if you feel comfortable, 5 lift and lowers. 4, keep the balance. And keep that belly button drawn in so that spine stays straight. 2. And 1. And come on back down. Little stretch back if that feels good for you. Come up onto those fingertips. And slowly come on forward. Well done today, everyone. So hopefully you enjoyed that nice 3-part beginner series. If you'd like to continue on with your Pilates journey, I do have an online on-demand library of videos and classes for you to take, as well as weekly lives. So I'll pop the link of that underneath the videos. And if not, just feel free to repeat these, and I hope you enjoyed. Thank you so much for joining.